Audience, welcome to another video. Hello, hello, my lovely, lovely audience. Welcome to another video. Yeah, okay, it's working now. Anyway, so yes, big news. My cat Patchy. Recently, the pictures are here. Oh my goodness, the pictures are here somewhere. Give me a. My cat Patchy recently gave birth to kittens. Yeah, yeah, I am super excited at the fact that I'm now a grandpa. My little baby kittens. Anyway, yeah, so with that out of the way, I have no idea what to call this what if, so I'm probably gonna leave a post like 20 minutes before I upload this, asking y'all what you think I should, call it. Anyway, so yes, let's get on with the what if. Now then, so, okay, give me a moment. Yeah, okay. Let's get on with the what if now. Okay, so in this what if, Izuku would be born blonde. Hisashi, upon Izuku's birth, would just kinda side-eye Inko. like, uh, to my knowledge, we both have green hair. So explain how the child here has yellow. Inko would look at Hisashi, and say, I know what you're thinking, but I can assure you that it's not the case. Explain. So Inko would inform Hisashi that she has absolutely no fucking clue. like, they're guessing it's related to his quirk. They get a DNA test, it's Hisashi's. Now, time skip to when Izuku's 4. His quirk hasn't manifested, and, well, Bach goes picking on a kid. Deku's trying to stand up for the kid, but Bakugo would use quirk to explode Deku, burning his face severely and destroying his eyes. He is now completely blind. Bakugo's like, oh shit. But then something would occur. Izuku's quirk would manifest. Now then, I'm gonna just explain how this quirk works. So, Deku's body is basically plant. He's able to manipulate his body into a variety of different things, and his body can produce pollen. Now, this pollen comes in a variety of different colors with different effects. Yellow pollen, upon coming into contact with someone, will, disrupt the nervous system, causing their muscles and joints to lock, resulting in whatever part the pollen comes into contact with, and a flower growing. Yeah, flowers grow out of the people, resulting in whatever it comes in contact with to be paralyzed in that body part. Second color is, well, purple. You can guess what purple does, it's poison. The last, part is light blue, which puts you to sleep. Yeah, light blue releases basically chloroform into your bloodstream. That's basically what it does. And the final color, green, essentially cancels out the other pollens. It's the antidote, essentially. Now, let me just say this, if Deku is in direct sunlight, he's virtually immortal. But that is if he's in the sunlight. He can't do diddly squat in the, dark. So his body is essentially able to fix itself like a plant, except much, much faster than a plant. But only if he's in direct sunlight. If he's non-direct sunlight, he's basically a glorified plant man. Once again, the quirk gets significantly stronger in sunlight. Final aspect of the quirk. Minor wind generation. Well, not minor. It's just wind generation. So basically, how the quirk works is, well, this part of the quirk works is Deku can't just pull a Thor and, well, not Thor, but can't just create a tornado out of nothing. His quirk allows him to create apparatuses to generate winds, like fans and or sculptures that can breathe out wind. Now, the sculptures are made out of wood, like Deku's body. He can, once again, plant manipulation. In reality, this quirk is majority plant manipulation, slight bit wind generation. So that's how the quirk works. Anyway, cut back to the story. Bakugo, who just blew up Deku's face, causing a bunch of burns. Rose vines would seemingly sprout out of Deku's face, and, well, as the injury would seemingly retract, so would the rose vines coming out of the injury. As said rose vines will enter Izuku's eyes, repairing them. But this power comes with a grave cost. Deku has lost all sense of feeling. Now, he has emotions, which makes this worse because he can't feel anything. He can't taste. He can't feel when someone's holding him, hugging him. He can't so much as even... He can't smell either. He's lost all feeling. He's unable to smell, touch, taste, feel pleasure. Hell, even a deep tissue massage won't do jack shit. He's essentially just lost all feeling in his nerves. And it's much worse than what you would think, because typically when you encounter characters like this, they don't have emotions to boot, so... But in this what if, Deku has emotions, which means he's, he can still miss feeling things. Like, the inability to feel sucks. But when you have emotions, it sucks even more. Cut back to story. Deku's body would repair itself as well. Anyway, Bakugo's like, is your... Deku's brain data exceed not working. Deku would look at his hands before saying, I got my quirk. He would be all happy until he would realize he can't feel him touching anything. He would walk up to Bakugo and poke him in the forehead. What was that for, Deku? Deku would look at his finger before saying, I can't feel anything, Kachan. He would poke Bakugo in the forehead again and again, his brain unable to register the fact that he's touching Bakugo. Bakugo would blow Deku's hand away from him, causing the hand to get burnt and, well, end up burning. The hand is now attached by like a thin piece of wood, like a thin vine. The hand's now hanging off of Deku, as the hand would slowly reattach itself. Deku would look at the hand before saying, I didn't feel that either. Anyway, so Deku's parents would be called, they would get the quirk explained to them, and, well, Deku would have lost all sense of touch and taste. Give me a moment. All sense of touch, taste, feeling, just everything. So, time skipped when Izuku's 6. He's reading, some Demon Slayer. Uh, and he would be watching he would be reading the Demon Slayer manga. And he would, learn of a character in said manga called Doma, who apparently is unable to feel emotion. Now, this is the closest thing Deku has, seen to his condition, as you would call it. Instead of emotion, Deku's unable to feel physical things, whilst Doma's unable to feel emotional things. So Doma would quickly become Izuku's favorite character in the manga. Him eventually reading up to, Shinobu's fight with Doma, and seeing, Doma's blood demon art. Izuku looking at it and thinking about how similar it is to his quirk. With all the lotuses and vines, with only Doma's being like ice, whilst Deku's being actual things. So Deku would use his quirk to make a set of fans made from, his body essentially. And, he would try and do some of the things that Doma did. Him being able to manipulate the wood and vines and pollen to create strings of, thorny rose beds on the ground that produces his pollen. Flowers that emit the pollen. Deku would begin practicing more and more until the start of the anime. He has practiced with his quirk to the point of, being on par with Bakugo. Him being able to compete with Bakugo, and Deku's quirk, especially amongst the ladies. Deku would be quite popular in middle school with how his quirk is. And, just how he looks. His entire shtick, by technicality, is beauty in, their eyes. He's quite an attractive male, relatively tall, quite fit, and his quirk is, he's been given the nickname the Lady Killer, not for the reasons you think. He isn't, that much of a fan of Doma. He ain't that much of a fan, but, why did I do that? Fan! Oh my goodness, the accidental pun! Oh shit. Okay, seriousness. That was quite the accidental pun. So, he would be quite famous with the ladies of the school, because he can grow beautiful flowers out of thin air. And, he would be quite the eccentric young man. More so, quite the fashionista, as you could say. He likes fashion, because, it doesn't require him to be able to touch it in order to enjoy it. He can still appreciate its beauty without needing to feel it. Unlike food or just anything, really. Most things require you to at least be able to feel it. He can still appreciate stuff like art and, beautiful things like that. So he, does. He goes out of his way to go to art museums, fashion shows. Hell, he's even begun, stitching things, trying to make things using his quirk, making flax, and then... Oh my goodness. Give me a moment. Just had to get something to drink. My mouth was getting quite dry. But yeah, he would begin making flax and stuff like that. Fibers and he would begin trying to make his own brand of clothing. He's not the best at it as of current, but he's only recently started. It is to be expected. Something he's realized he's quite good at is he can make flower petal dresses. Dresses out of the flower petals of his quirk. The petals don't really do anything other than signify what effect the plant is. It's the center of the plant, the center of the flower, where the pollen is stored, which is the, producer. Yeah, it's the center of the plant. That's kind of important. Anyway, yeah, with that little tangent out the way, the teacher walks in, throws the papers up into the air. The fan inside of the room, sucks up the papers as they get cut into shreds, as he would go under the desk, pull them out, throw them back up in the air, saying, "I know you all want to be heroes," as a hero would fly by the window, at such a speed that all the papers would just go flying out with him. He would just kind of look out the window as Bakugo would say, "I hope you made copies because, I ain't refilling that form. You are going to do it because I appear to have misplaced them." "Misplaced my ass!" Deku would just say, "Pause," as Bakugo would blush, turn red with embarrassment, before yelling, "You wanna die, pretty boy?" Deku would look at him before saying, "Sorry, Bakugo, don't swing that way, but I do appreciate the comment." Everyone in the class would be laughing their asses off at this statement. Yeah, I'm gonna have to sit down now. Anyway, yeah. Everyone would laugh, including Bakugo would giggle a bit at the comedy of that statement. And, well, Bakugo would then go on his rant about extras and blah blah blah. Deku tunes it out to be reading. Oh my goodness. Reading. Okay, I need a drink again. Reading a fashion magazine. Just kind of chilling. Anyway, I want to just point this out now. This quirk is mostly inspired by the tensei, I think, or the tensen from Hell's Paradise. The Lord Tensen from Hell's Paradise. I don't know if I should call it what if Deku was a Lord Tensen, but maybe. Anyway, yeah. Bakugo goes on his rant, the classroom boos him. Teacher is like, "Oh, don't worry, I wanted to be a hero when I was younger, but I failed miserably, and look what I got." The class would look at him before one guy in the back would say, "Oh, we're fucked!" As, everyone would begin panicking. And as the teacher would just, lower his head in disappointment, looking down at the forms before saying, "Oh, it seems like Bakugo and Izuku want to go to UA," he would say, trying to change the subject from his failure of a life. One lady would say, "I mean, of course Izuku would go, but why would the angry Pomeranian try and be a hero?" Bakugo would just look at the random girl in class who said that, his head goes 360 degrees. As Bakugo would begin yelling, "What you mean I have a better chance than, him over there? Then Monsieur Francais over there?" Deku would just wave "Hi, I'm not French." Why does everyone think that? He would just ponder to himself whilst he's sitting there on his desk. as Bakugo would continue yelling uncontrollably, as, well, Deku would just kind of reach in his bag, pull out a battery-powered kettle, some sugar, a cup, like a full tea set, at burps, sorry. Yeah, some sugar, a tea bag, a battery-powered kettle, a full tea set, place them all on his desk, make some tea with his quirk, plant manipulation / generation. Yeah, his body is basically just this amalgamation of different plants. He'd make some tea with his quirk, attempt to make a packet with it, but fail. Well, put the tea in the cup, put the water in the cup, sugar, stir. As, he's just casually sipping on green tea as Bakugo is screaming at, one fat guy. As Deku would say, "Oh, last I heard, Bakugo has a Big Mac in its backpack." The fat guy's eyes would open wide as Bakugo would look at Deku before saying, "You bastard." That's all Bakugo would say before he would get pounced on by the fat kid as Bakugo's screaming on the ground, the sounds of clothing being torn. As Deku would say, "Don't mess with the kid with the tiger quirk." He would just be casually humming to himself as the teacher would be under the desk crying. And my class is so chaotic. When will I be able to retire? 40 more years, Tony. 40 more years. Cut to the end of the day. Bakugo's being dragged out by the fat kid. He's holding Bakugo's ankle in his teeth. He's walking, he's slowly backing up, dragging Bakugo out. On all fours. It's just a very fat person. As, Deku's still just casually sipping on the tea that he has prepared. Give me a moment. Deku would leave, the school shortly after, and, well, as he's walking down a bridge, the Sludge villain would burst out of the sewage, pipe, sewage drain. This has to be one of the weirdest quirks I've ever made, and/or one of the most everywhere quirks I've ever made. Just think of it: plant generation, manipulation, and wind generation. As Deku would jump back as the villain would try and grab him, the villain ending up grabbing Izuku's backpack as Deku would sigh before saying, "Ah, the 130th edition of Fashion Magazine was in there. Do you have any idea how much that'll cost? $5, but it's still annoying," he would say as a set of wooden fans would appear in his hands. He would open them, revealing a rose vine pattern. A rose vine pattern on the fans, as Deku would swing the fans forward, saying, "You're gonna have to compensate for that. It's so annoying to have to go to the store," he would say as he would swing the fans, generating a massive amount of pollen and wind. Fun fact, at the end of each fan is a flower of different colors. Of the different colors. You know how fans open up and there's these little wooden bits? Well, yeah, that. The wooden bits in between the paper of the fan. At the end of those wooden bits is a flower of each color of Deku's quirk. So yellow, purple, light blue, green. Yeah. He would blow the wind forward, releasing a swarm of both green and... No, not... Give me a moment. I am back. Give me a moment. Anyway, yeah, I am back. So then, Deku would swing the fans, releasing a swarm of light blue and yellow pollen. The pollen would come into contact with the sludge villain and begin growing, also on the ground and walls. But the sludge villain is still able to move because it has no physical body. Well, it does. But as the sludge villain's getting closer, it would get knocked back. Knocked back by the wind, pollen hitting in the eyes, causing the creature to just sort of stop moving. Deku would look at it, placing his hands on his hips, still holding the fans, like, so that's your weak point. Noted. Just, like, yeah. As All Might would burst out of the sewer grate, like, I am here! As he would look around, realizing that this under the tunnel has become like a full-on garden. Hello, young sir, do you know where the sludge villain went? Deku would just point at the pile of goo on the ground with flowers growing out of it. Oh! Thank you! What's your quirk, young fellow? Young fellow? Voice crack. As Deku would just casually say, plant generation, manipulation, and wind generation. Neat! Want to help me clean it up? I'll give you an autograph. Deku would just smile at that like, I can sell it on eBay. He's much more into best genius than All Might. Because, well, Deku does not have the capability of feeling the sensation of punching someone, or the feeling of a fight. And Best Genius is like... It's pretty obvious why he likes Best Genius over All Might, I'd say. Deku would clean up, help All Might scoop the sludge villain into the bottles. All Might would give Deku his autograph, and jump away. Anyway, yeah. Deku would just put his hands on his hips again before saying, guess he is as dumb as they say. He would say, casually walking away. Okay. So then, time skip, about a month. Deku has recently discovered a place called Dagaba Beach, which is a beach filled with garbage. And Deku, being a plant human, is not quite happy with that. Once again, plant human. Very environmentalist. Aww. My cat's kittens are going mew. Aw, that's cute. Anyway, yeah. So Deku would begin cleaning up the beach, also practicing his quirk whilst he's at it. For example, creating vines, sharp rose vines with varying flowers on them, varying colors, varying pollen, to create different kinds of whips that he can use to destroy things. He's basically... Oh, they're so cute. He's basically, training up his ability to make plants, the speed he can make them, and how durable they are. Because the more durable plants he can make, the more durable his body is. Once again, plant person. Literally. And figuratively, but mostly literally. He would eventually encounter. So one day he's just cleaning up the beach, picking up an entire refrigerator with one arm, just kind of carrying it on his shoulder to, who knows where, just like a nearby garbage truck, until he would encounter a round-faced, pink-cheeked girl with a bob of hair, like hair bob, doing something similar. The girl would wave him down, because she's apparently, and the girl would be with a stick figure of a man, just what Deku can assume to be a shell of a former past of glory. He would walk up to them, still carrying the refrigerator, and say, "Hi, so..." The girl would grab his hand, shaking it, saying, Hello, I'm Ochako Uraraka. So, since you're also cleaning up this beach, I was wondering, why you're doing that? To get stronger, or because it's just a dirty place? I would love to know. Deku would just scratch the back of his head before saying, both to make my quirk better and also to, clean it up. Environmentalist and all that. Okay, give me a moment. Deku would quickly facepalm himself before saying, "Oh yeah, forgot to introduce myself. I'm Izuku Midoriya. Nice to meet you, Ochako Uraraka. And it's nice to meet you." The two of them would shake hands. Deku going to the garbage truck to deal with the refrigerator, as All Might would think to himself, well, the skeleton man, Toshinori Yagi, give me a moment. He would think to himself, that kid looks familiar. Anyway, so yes, Deku would continue training up his quirk. Uraraka and him practicing their quirks. Deku would continue moving things, so would she. Deku making a few suggestions here and there on how Uraraka could use her quirk. And Uraraka would just, be Uraraka, I guess. Just picking things up, selling them for scrap metal. Yep, that's what she's been doing. That's why she's there. To sell the garbage to nearby, recycling plants. To have them melted down. So she can pay off her parents' debts. Deku, eventually learning of this, would also begin selling a few of his flowers here and there. The flowers of his burp. Sorry. The flowers of his quirk to, just random people with mostly the sleepy flowers to, like, narcolepsy. Not narcolepsy. Insomniacs like Aizawa. Aizawa and Shinso are like his most regular customers. Which is ironic and kind of sad, because you only need one flower. It's quite sad, because it only takes one flower to knock someone out. But they are actively buying large quantities of the flowers. Deku's beginning to get concerned about what they're using it for. But yeah. Anyway, so, yeah. So, oh my goodness. Speak. So, yeah, Deku's has like a little stand that he's selling the flowers at. I'm just imagining like Aizawa with a wheelbarrow, just saying, no, okay, brain.exe not working. So Deku's running the little stand, just kind of sitting there, done with life type expression. As Aizawa would turn up with a wheelbarrow and just say, fill it. Deku would look at him concernedly, like, dude, you do know that you could give me a moment. Okay, let's continue. He's just looking at him like, dude, you know you could die from an overdose, right? Like, one flower's fine, but the amount that you're going at could end up making you, at the very least, comatose. Aizawa would just look at him, take out his wallet, take out like 2,000 to like 5,000 yen, slam it on the table, and say, fill the wheelbarrow. Daku just looking at him as Aizawa's hair would stand up, his eyes would turn red. Daku would just say, okay, I'm gonna need you to sign here and here and here. Like he's having Aizawa sign a whole ass contract, like, so that he doesn't get sued by whichever family this guy has. Shinso would turn up, just look at him, ask him the color of the sky. Deku would say, well, it's, afternoon, so, like, orange? He would get mind controlled. Wait, no. Give me. Would Shinso's quirk work on Deku because Deku's a plant? Give me a moment. Okay, my lovely, lovely audience, I'm gonna have to end this off here. You know, life came up again, you know, things like that. So, goodbye, my lovely, lovely audience. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!